The chill in Willow Creek High's library was the kind that got right into your bones. It was November, and finals were hanging over our heads like a storm about to break. I'm Sarah Jenkins, 17, and back then, I was drowning in PE biology notes. The library stayed open late during exam week, a lifesaver for kids like me whose homes were too loud or too small for studying. My house was a 15-minute walk away, past sagging porches and skeletal trees. Between my little brother Tommy's video games and my dad's snoring after a double shift at the auto plant, the quiet of the library was my only escape. It smelled like dust and old paper, a scent I'd come to associate with survival. That first night, I arrived around 6 p.m. At first, the place was buzzing, but by 10, it was just me, the distant swish of the janitor's mop, and the relentless tick of the clock. I was sketching cell mitosis when I heard a soft, irregular thump, like someone dragging something heavy. I looked up. Nothing, just the wind. I muttered and went back to my work. But the sound came again, closer this time, with a faint scraping noise. My pen stopped moving. It had to be my imagination, fueled by too much caffeine and not enough sleep. At 1:45, I started packing up. The silence felt heavy, pressing down on me. As I zipped my backpack, the thump echoed from the aisle right behind me, deliberate, limping. My heart hammered against my ribs. I spun around. The aisle was empty. But on the floor, just inches from my chair, was a single earring. It was a tiny silver locket, tarnished and cold. I picked it up. Inside, faintly etched, were the letters E and M forever. It wasn't mine. Shaking, I hurried out. The school's old linoleum hall stretched out before me. At the far end, by the double doors to the parking lot, a figure stood hunched over. Tall, dressed in a threadbare coat. I froze. Hello? I called out, my voice barely a whisper. The figure turned slowly. It was a woman, her face hidden by a mess of gray-streaked hair. Who's there? I tried again, but the words caught in my throat as she lifted her head. Her eyes were milky and unseeing, and they locked right onto me. A whisper, as dry as dead leaves, filled the silence. Have you seen my girl? Emily, she's just a child. My blood ran cold. I didn't know any Emily. Fumbling for my phone, I turned on the flashlight. The beam hit her face gaunt, pale, the fresh, jagged scar across her cheek. Please, she rasped, taking a limping step forward, her boots scraping the floor. She was playing on the swings. I turned away for just a second. The doors behind me burst open, and I bolted into the freezing night. The parking lot was empty. There was no woman, no shadow. Just me, gasping for breath, clutching the locket in my fist. The next day at school was a blur. I showed the locket to my best friend, Mia. Creepy, I whispered, telling her about the woman in the hall. Mia's eyes went wide. Dude, you don't mean *** Emily from the legend? I had no idea what she was talking about. She told me the story. Back in '98, a 10-year-old named Emily Hargrove died in an accident on the school playground. Her mom, Margaret, or Maggie, went mad with grief and took her own life a few months later. People say her spirit still wanders the school, limping because she twisted her ankle running to Emily that night, forever searching for her daughter. I tried to laugh it off as an urban myth, but it was all I could think about. That night, I couldn't focus at home. Every creak of the house sounded like that limping step. So against my better judgment, I went back to the library. It was dead silent. I sat at the same table, my back to the wall. Then the whispers started. Emily, where's my Emily? They came from the history aisle. A book slid off a shelf and fell open to a black and white class picture from 1997. In the back row was a girl with curls and dimples. The caption read, "Emily Hargrove, forever in our hearts." Footsteps, thumb scrape circled the shelves, getting closer. In the corridor, the woman was waiting. Her coat looked wet, her hair matted with dirt. "You," she breathed. "You've seen her. Tell me where she went." She lunged, her twisted hand reaching for me, nails like glass. I wrenched the door open and ran, her raw, keening wail chasing me into the night. "Emily, Mommy's here." When I got home, my dad was in the kitchen. I told him what happened, leaving out the ghost part. He listened, then his face grew serious. "Willow Creek's full of old ghosts, Sarah," he said softly. He told me my grandma was friends with Maggie. After the accident, Maggie became obsessed, seeing Emily everywhere. Then he slid a shoebox across the table. "Your mom found this in the attic before she left." Inside, among old letters, was a tiny pink kid, a child's sneaker, its sole caked in dirt. I screamed. The story spread through school like a virus. My friend Jake admitted the ghost had appeared to him last year, calling him by his dead sister's name. We tried a Ouija board in the chem lab. The planchette spelled out Emily, then where. Suddenly, it shot to the lights flickered, and in the reflection of a glass cabinet, we saw a fourth face beside our own, a little girl with curls and a pink dress, grinning with teeth that were too sharp. We fled. That night, I had visions. I was Maggie, running across the playground, hearing Emily's laugh, then the sickening crunch of her fall. I woke up screaming. Downstairs, the pink sneaker I threw away was sitting on the counter. My little brother Tommy pointed to the backyard. "The lady left it," he said. "She's waiting for you." Outside, under the old oak tree, Maggie stood, her hand raised in a plea. "Come play, Emily," a voice whispered inside my head. The whispers followed me everywhere. "Emily, come home." They'd hiss from lockers and bathroom stalls. My dad, finally understanding, found old photos. My great aunt had been at the playground that day. On the last day of exams, I went back to the library. In an old yearbook, by Emily's memorial photo, a faded note read, "Maggie, she didn't fall. Pushed. Saw it. SJ, my great aunt's initials." I followed the familiar thumb scrape to the old fenced-off playground. Maggie was there, her fingers hooked through the chain-link fence. "There you are, my love," she said. But the playground shimmered, and I saw it. A shadow pushing Emily. It wasn't an accident. It was her father. Maggie's voice cracked. He was abusive. He grabbed Emily, she fell, and he swore Maggie to silence. The lie ate her alive, even after death. Beyond the fence, a small translucent figure appeared on the swings. It was Emily, and she had my face. "Mommy, why'd you let him?" she asked. Maggie collapsed in a sob. "Forgive me, baby." My own pain over my mom leaving mirrored her grief. I reached through the fence, my hand brushing Maggie's. It was cold, but pulsed with a desperate energy. "She's not here," I said. "But maybe she's waiting." Maggie's eyes grew fierce. "You see her. In you. The guilt. Let me take it." Her grip tightened, pain and release flooding me at once. Visions flashed. My mom, leaving not out of hate, but fear of this curse. My dad, leaving flowers at the playground every year. Emily slid off the swing, her hand outstretched. "Play with me, Sarah, forever." This wasn't forgiveness. It was possession. "Join us," Maggie hissed, pulling me. I tore my hand away and ran. My dad was on our porch, holding a shotgun. "Get inside," he yelled. At the edge of our yard, Maggie's form flickered and dissolved with the dawn. Exams ended. I burned the locket and buried the shoe. My dad and I started therapy. My mom called, her voice trembling. I saw her, in dreams. That's why I ran. To break the chain. The sightings of the limper stopped. But I still hear whispers sometimes, in the wind, in the laughter of children. The ghosts didn't vanish. They just found their harmony. And sometimes, on quiet nights, I walk by the old playground. The swings are still, but I feel a faint push. Hear a giggle as soft as a memory. Good night, Emily. I'll whisper. And for a moment, the world feels quiet and at peace. Thanks for listening. If you have stories of your own town's legends, share them in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more strange tales.